I got my tan working again right now. Okay. And it looks like we're good there.
Well, it looks like the sun behind you is really shining bright.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Cool. All right, guys. We're another Tuesday here now. All right. So today, I never even said, I keep forgetting to say this, but just even for the recording, today's June 11th, 2024. It is flying by this year, I tell you. So, but all right, guys, we are live streaming. We are good to go. So, thank you everybody for joining again. Today is our weekly coherence meditation for anybody over in YouTube that's on our live here. We do stream to YouTube. We hold our live events over here on Zoom. We do our coherence meditations every week, Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific time. I don't have the QR codes up right now, but when they do appear, one of them is actually going to be a QR code for the freedomsnap.org/Seth, which contains a whole bunch of links in there, including the link for the Zoom session that you can join. We'd love to have you over here on Zoom. We understand that if you want to join over there on YouTube, that's fine. You're going to have probably about a 15-second delay on there. Unfortunately, we're not streaming over to Facebook as we figure out some of the glitches. And well, actually, Facebook redid their live stream, so we're trying to figure out how to live stream that. But we do have a couple events over in the I'm Awake Now one and the Water Consciousness movement over in YouTube or Facebook rather, that you can click on that link and hop on over to YouTube. So please do subscribe, like, share this to friends and family who you think would benefit. The format of our coherence meditations, maybe the first 10 to 15 minutes, an intro and a brief discussion. And then as we're going into coherence meditation, if you are in your own trance and just want to drop off, feel free to do that. You can drop off, continue on your own. We do encourage everybody to do this as a daily practice. Take a little time out each day. What actually helps me is I mentioned this a couple times. I actually bought these probably about $65 on YouTube. I have connects into Bluetooth. I play some frequencies while Seth's hosting coherence meditation. It does actually help out. Those frequencies definitely help. So, last week's title, wow, this again, shedding selfish narcissism and narcissists by sustaining selflessness. Anyways, glad we don't have this title this week. But for this week, Seth is doing a little improv with the title of Improvised Meditation. So, I guess, wow, comedy tour here, right? Okay. And if you do have a particular topic in mind, please do comment below the video. We'll check those comments and we'll add that to the queue and hopefully get that in one of these Tuesday sessions. We're actually we should probably send out that questionnaire we talk about because we ultimately want to combine, we want to get together some primary topics and have maybe like a main topic and then several weeks of those sessions back to back to back so that we can basically package those together. And we basically have an abundance of ongoing topics that we can pick and choose from. So if you do have one, please do let us know. Do comment down below. All right, guys. So let's take this away. You got the improv? All right, get that
Does it again?
microphone right.
Wait. Thank you, Greg. Thank you,
Oh, I forgot.
everyone.
I forgot.
Yes,
I'm
go
awake now. What? Even though I don't have it right up there. Visit Seth's new website, I'mAwakeNowWhat.com, and get that free book. Pay for that $7.95 shipping for the hard copy. Otherwise, you got the PDF on there that you can download.
Yeah, thank you. And also the meditations, the short meditations that we've been doing. Basically, if anybody wants a specific topic or anything like that, let me know and I can pretty much do it. And so we put together a short meditation between 5 to 10 minutes where we get in sync with this life force. And then whatever, any kind of obstacles or any kind of goals, whatever, just throw stuff out to us and it will manifest at some point, probably sooner rather than later right now. But yeah, we're doing that and it's super exciting. So
You know what else is exciting? And
yes.
I don't think I really mentioned this to you, but I know that I've been working a lot on just Freedom Snap. There is so much that's actually going into Freedom Snap, guys. And one of these days, I'm going to put together a basically an outreach to everyone to explain what it's all about, what we're doing. But one of the things is basically Seth will have his own corner on there, his own channel, and I was even thinking that even like how you have the Calm app and stuff like that. Your 5 minute meditations, you have in that separate group, and people can actually use the Freedom Snap app which they'll have access to. They could download that. They'll have that offline.
When's
So
that gonna be
wow,
done?
wow, man. I mean, that's a big task, but
Oh
you know
yeah.
what? This is going to be like the beta for us. So it's the beta stage, and yeah, as soon as I get that outreach out there, I will be looking for a lot of people to come in and help with various things. I mean, it's a large task to undertake, and just as we did when we started up these coherence meditations 15, 14 months ago, whatever it was, we're gonna just play it by ear. So let's yeah. I mean it's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be a lot of work, but
Looking
it'll
forward
be
to it,
fun.
man. Yeah, let's get it done. So all right. For tonight, we're doing improvised coherence meditation. And it's funny, like improv is usually for comedy. Improvisation mostly applies to music. But here, this applies to being so present with your reality, with your awareness, with your life force. And you're so present with it that you're not thinking about what's going to come next. You're not thinking about what was. You are completely present and aware in this body. And it's very uncomfortable. It usually is at first. Like if I'm just totally in channel mode and all this information's coming through, there's little bits of my subconscious that's like, what am I going to say next? It kicks in, but I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. It doesn't even matter. Doing that in your life with everything, for all we know, when we get right up front in our life and we become these beings that are aware of reality here now in real time, beyond time, when we get into that, we break away from the remembered past and the imagined future. And there's nothing wrong with any of that. The only issue with the imagined future or the remembered past is that most of it is constructed in a very self-defeating kind of way. And so there's so much anxiety and depression interwoven with what happened before and what is going to happen tomorrow. And we box ourselves into a prison of mental and emotional turmoil. And with every thought we have and every feeling, we keep putting more bars up to the prison. And I know that I was in a mental and emotional prison far before I was physically incarcerated. But I didn't know it until I was. Like it took being in my worst nightmare, which I talk about a lot, just to make points. I had to get into that situation where there was no escape, no bypassing, nothing, just face it here head on. And it wasn't easy at first, but it's like kept doing it because there was no other option for me. The other things that could have happened in there is I learned how to play cards, which I never did. I can argue and fight all the things that happen in there. And it's like, yeah, you know what? I have zero interest in that. So in a way, I was on my own. I was alone for the most part. And all I had were my thoughts, beliefs, behaviors, and actions that are running like a movie script over and over and over, almost like Groundhog Day. Who was that? Bill Murray? Is that like that? Where
Yep,
every
Bill Murray.
day, Bill Murray, yeah, every day was like that. Every single day. And I watched how a lot of the guys around me were stuck in this crazy self-defeatist victim mode of, I hate my life. I hate that I'm here. I hate these people. I hate the person who put me, like, they get into these rants where it's like, it's toxic AF, toxic. Like, and especially for somebody that is really getting in tune with their own pulse and their life force, go near people who are just, they're definitely not doing that. They probably don't know that they can do it. But even if they did, most of them wouldn't do that because they are addicted to that prison of a mental and emotional torture that, yeah, we are socially indoctrinated. We learn things from society and the world. We're taught to value functional trash more than relationship to life and to each other and to the natural world. And look, it happens. This is the world we're brought into. It happens to almost everybody. And here's the comedy of it. And this is where I'm going to try to, you got it. Perfect. There it is, everybody. Show them the website and the QR codes. You're on mute, but
Sorry, guys. I'm awake now. What? But also right over here, Cosmic Gaia Community Channel over on YouTube, and then the Freedom Snap.
thank you,
So
Greg.
sorry to interrupt.
It's all right. There's no way to mess this up, by the way, for everybody.
Yeah.
And that applies to your life. No matter what you do, no matter how ashamed or embarrassed or whatever you feel like you did to damn yourself, you can't mess this up.
You attract what you put out.
And every time you fall down, you get back up, you learn a little bit more, if not a lot more.
It's like when we started this last year, 14, 15, we didn't know what the heck we were getting into, but put yourself out there, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So
You don't got to be great to start, but you got to start to be great. I just heard that, which is fascinating. But for me, it's not about greatness. It's about connection. It's about being so in harmony with the predominant bulk of what reality is, that all of like the defeatist victim type stuff that most people are addicted to and have normalized. When you realize that you are this incredible living, breathing force of nature, the last thing you're going to want to do is beat yourself up. And yeah, it might, like, once you start to remember that and you start to have the feeling, yeah, you're going to have to work at really being with it, because that's going to override all of the old victimization, wounding, going in and out of the prison systems. But here's kind of what's funny about it. I don't know how this is going to come out, but look at the insanity of all of us, of everybody in the world. And what I mean by that is every single one of us, like many of you guys have heard me say, we are all a miraculous force of beyond genius intelligence that, I mean, the thing that gives birth to universes, and like, we are that. And not only are we that, but we are that in a very powerful little package, because our life force, so intelligent, it is doing things faster than the speed of light and time right now. All of us, we are all doing it. And yet, even when you suggest that to people, they're like, oh, what? Whatever. Where's the news? Or, oh, this person did me wrong. Oh, I can't stand them. Like, there is a miracle happening right now. You wouldn't feel victimized if this miracle wasn't there. So my point is that we all already are this frequency of reality. It is a highly creative, intense frequency that literally gives birth and brings death, and it creates beyond all things. And when we're in tune with that, because every single one of us is that. Every single one of us is that. And when we realize that our remembered past and our imagined future, the way we've been working at it, is just holding us back from what we already are. Like, at what point do we say, this is insane? Time to stop. We all are the miracle, and yet everybody wants to focus on everything but the miracle. So it is kind of a cosmic joke, and it's also really tragic at the same time. The world is getting better and it's getting worse, but it's going to be like that for a while because we are in this really intense phase of reality where all these massive frequencies of reality, these polarized energies and frequencies and vibrations and everything is made of, they're all trying to balance themselves out. Everything, the forces of nature, every single thing is balancing its own energy. So right down to the little millipede or ant walking in the ground, to all the birds and animals in the forest, to us, to the cosmos, everything is in a state of flux. Everything is such heightened frequency and energy and activity right now that everybody's like, whoa, something's up, but we can't tell what it is. But that's the first part. Like, take responsibility. What is happening obviously needs to happen. Look at our world. Look what our species has done to it. We care more about functional trash than we do relationship to life, to each other. Think about that. Like, we have the power to break that addiction right here in this moment. And if we could break that addiction and every single addiction to who we think we are, if we could kick all that at once, we would see that we always have been completely connected to this miraculous life force that wants to influence us. I mean, it's already doing plenty for us by letting us be in these bodies, but it wants to influence us because when we are guided by that force with our own unique individual perception of it, which is the beauty, because we can all be supported by it. And each person alive has a different way of perceiving it. And when we do that individually and together, we're creating all synchronized to reality. So if we were to kick all that stuff, done, gone now, we discover that this miracle, this miraculous force of energy that is faster than the speed of light and sound, and that we are totally like, that is what, not only what we come from, but that is what we are here now. And all the propaganda and all the trash, everything, you just look at it with eyes of compassion and you recognize that, yeah, that's what's happening here. But those who have created that are so out of tune with this very life force that we are. They're out of tune because the universe is a perfect accounting system. And if you have ever had a near-death experience, like a real near-death experience, or if you know someone that has, the thing that I've always heard most that people share is that there's this accounting system kind of thing. There's some kind of force that is there adding up everything, our thoughts, beliefs, behaviors, actions, our collective connection to our species, our collective connection to other species. All of that stuff is balanced. And if it's not balanced, then it's trying to balance. And if people or whatever, whoever it is running this world and owning all these companies and creating all this trash that everybody thinks is so sacred, they are doing this because they do not understand the mechanics of the soul and its evolution. Or if they do, then they're just straight up, trying to do this, which is, we're not going to do that. We don't want to make a world just for us. We don't want to buy a bunch of crap just so that our ego gets fed or whatever. We want harmony with our own life, with our health, want to prioritize that harmony, that consciousness, that awareness that we have of all of this synchronized, miraculous life force that animates our being and all things great or small. We want to create a greater connection to that so that we can sustain it. And then from that place, when you're sustaining it, others feel it. You might not know what it is, but the feeling of coherence or harmony is very different than the feeling of chaos. And all the negativity of who we think we are and what we've learned in this world, that comes from chaos. That is us being taught that we're totally disconnected from anything. No, we're just born to be a part of society, a cog in the wheels, to do our part and sweat and labor and toil. And that's it. That's what comes first. Meanwhile, our sweat equity, it doesn't allow the actual life force to evolve through us. It's kind of like saying, you know what, okay, money is so important. And you know what? There's this unbelievable force of nature, this frequency of reality that is God, that is divine, that is all that. And you know what? I'm going to focus more on money. I'm going to burn my life force out and make money because that's what I believe. That's what I'm going to do. And meanwhile, that beautiful soul that is in all of us doesn't get attention. It's just literally, and it gets pushed off. And when people begin to age rapidly or break down, so much of that is because they felt defeated in this life. Not everybody, but I'm generalizing here, and you can see it anywhere you go. When we let the social indoctrination and all the institutional conditioning of reality to hold us down, to take our invaluable force of life, when we allow all of that to get the best of us, the soul that came into this being to evolve, to balance out its own polarities, that gets neglected. And but here's what's amazing about it is when it's not neglected, when it's like, wow, okay, I'm going to start paying attention to it. I'm going to start really paying attention to it. You do it, you keep doing it, you make a habit out of it. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, when you're least expecting it, bam, breakthrough. And you just have this moment of like, oh my gosh, how could I ever forget that? And you're like reveling in the mystery of your own life experience. And you're just like, oh, thank God, thank God, thank God. And then all of a sudden it's gone. And you forget. And then you're like, wait, why? How did I forget? How did I lose touch with that? And then you're like, you know what? I'm going to do it again. Keep making that connection. You keep paying attention to what's giving you attention. And you become influenced by what is allowing you to exist in the first place. And then all of a sudden, another awakening happens. And you go back and forth through these cycles. Not everybody. Some are born that way and they sustain it, but they are very rare. But for most, we come into this world with that imbalance of polarity. And when we prioritize this life force that truly is reality, we nurture it, it begins to evolve. And it's like, oh my God, it wants to help us thrive. And so it takes its frequency of infinity, of infinite creative capacity, and it starts to download and upload itself in us, around us. And at some point, keep focusing on that. You get to a place where you don't forget. You don't go back into who you've always been to survive in this world and feed all this trash that's destroying our world. Get to a place where you remember. And when you get to that place, you really calm down. And let's do that right now. As I continue to do this, let's get calm. And so wherever you are, just relax your entire body. Everything we've already shared together has set the groundwork for each one of us to begin to remember what we actually never have forgotten, to begin to wipe away all the tears of chaos in our family lineages and ancestry, all the collective trauma just from our ancestors is here with us now. And if we are not connected to this life force that we are, we can't really do much about all of that energy. And for most people and most families, it just continues. It never gets resolved. And it just continues through different people or different children that are brought into the world. And these karmic cycles that we are all connected to pulse through us because we are not prioritizing what is allowing the pulse to happen in the first place. So when we are totally relaxed, just slow our breathing down. And we put that power move, that smile, we put that smile on our face and we feel it in our heart. And not only is that you choosing to turn on the love light that you have the ability to flick like a switch, doing that gives you the platform to continue building those elevated feelings. And so you put on a smile, you feel it as joy or happiness, and you keep doing it until it just starts to do it on its own. And then at some point, that habit of you choosing to love your life, your body, your life force, at some point, you prove to yourself that you care enough about your life and this energy that is allowing all of us to be in this life. You are telling it that you're prioritizing it. And so that life force realizes that you are feeling joy, happiness, gratitude. And so it adds a little bit more charge to those feelings. So it's not just the feeling of your smile that you feel. It is the feeling of the smile upgraded with the ability to be able to feel much more powerful feelings and emotions. And the more that we actively encourage this process, the more we find that as it develops, as it builds, some point there is even no way to describe the feelings that you're having, but you're having them. And the more you have those feelings where you're not just feeling happy, you are feeling fantastic and you are in love with life and you see the suffering of the world and you have empathy for it. You keep prioritizing this connection to life that's connected you enough to be here. And that smile turns into something that is beautiful, that is powerful, that is reminding you that it's only the tip of the iceberg. And so when you get into that and you begin to have these feelings that it's the best feeling you've ever felt times infinity. It's hard to even describe, even referencing it a little bit. It's almost like an orgasm, but it's not sexual. It just is the life force of reality. It is like super creative frequency. And the more we focus on it with the tools that we have, that we're given, and the tools are so simple. When we get into these states and our body is so calm that we can feel our heartbeat and whatever stage of evolutionary feelings your smile creates. When you are doing that and you focus anywhere in the core of your body, from the top of your head, throughout your whole brain, throughout your whole neck, your heart, everything in the core of your body, when you can feel your pulse in any part of your body that you focus on, and when you intentionally make that switch flick of you loving your life force, and you feel the pulse anywhere in the core, that is you creating new consciousness, new perceptual possibilities. And you are anchoring into every dimension and layer of your body this love of life that you are choosing to create. And as those feelings increase, as you practice it, the more that you anchor it in the core of your body, the more that energy has a home to dwell within you. And sure enough, with practice, my whole body's zinging right now. With practice, all kinds of new possibilities just begin to become self-evident. We remember things that we didn't even know we ever could have known. Every answer to every question that you or anybody has ever had already exists. Every solution in your life that you wish you had, but you didn't, is always right there. You do have it. Same thing on this world. Every problem that exists in this world, the solution's already there. And when you look at life and generalize, it's kind of simple to realize that however many billion people there are who are all this powerful, super conscious force of nature, if everybody is that, and yet they're not paying attention to it, then isn't it obvious that the living conditions in this world are created by everybody manifesting their own limited reality based upon what they have learned in this world? I mean, it's unbelievable. Here we have each one of us. If we could see the frequency and the energy that is happening right now in our bodies, if we could see it, we would be in tears. And if we can hear it, because it operates in all kinds of different tones and frequencies and vibrations, when we start to get sensitive enough so that we could see it, hear it, then that begins to prime us so that we can feel it, literally feel it. And again, it has the potential to feel like nothing we could ever even imagine, but it's there. And it is actually what's normal, way more normal than the status quo. So when we make a commitment to compassionately observe that most aren't paying attention to the real reality, they're paying attention to this like little speck of sand in all the oceans of the world perception. They're just focused on this little tiny weensy piece of sand, thinking that's the world. And there's billions of them all doing that together. And they don't even question it. They're all just like, yeah, I want to buy that. Yeah, let's be like America. Yeah, let's like, that's what people are taught is the most important to achieve, to focus on. And so this magnificent, divine, or if you don't like that, this world that is completely coming from this reality. It is an invisible life force that is so organized and it is so in coherence with itself. And yet everybody's focusing on something so small that actually almost doesn't exist. But when enough of us come together in full integrity, meaning as individuals, we have prioritized a good bulk of our attention, at least, to begin to have an intimate connection with what is already in us. It's already there. It is not disconnected in any way, shape, or form. And if it was, then we wouldn't be here. Even our sense of self our conditioned belief systems. The only reason we can do any of that is because this energy in us, around us, is allowing us to do that. So what would happen if people start to get together in full integrity? One, we have prioritized this intimate relationship with the life force we are. And then two, from there, we begin to attract others into our life who have also prioritized this knowing. What could we do if 1 million of us, let's say we get 1 million people together meditating regularly every day of the week? But it's not just meditating. It's not just mindfulness. It is heart and brain coherence that then give way to whole body coherence. And from there, that's when the soul starts to become really empowered, because we're choosing to connect and sustain it. And when the soul realizes that, when it feels your love for it, because you know you're not separate, it is attached to layers and realms and possibilities that are incomprehensible, but it brings the ability to perceive all of this into us here in these bodies. And the more that happens, the more all of the loving, caring, the virtues of human being that bring out the best in us, meaning we are noble, we have tremendous respect for everything in the world, because we know that it all is related. And to even become so hyper aware in these bodies that, as we've been saying here tonight, it is a sheer miracle in us, around us. And the more we focus on that, the more we amplify it. So if we're getting together and we're building coherence, we can sustain coherence whether our eyes are opened or closed. So when we create the foundation of, let's call it, heart and brain, whole body coherence, when we create that foundation, anything we do from that place, we are automatically in that flow state, meaning we are conscious and aware of what we are, whether our eyes are opened or closed, and anything we think, anything that we do, it's all imbued with this feeling of consciousness formed from miraculous origins. And you can substantiate it because you can feel it. It's not affirmation, not belief systems. I mean, it can be those things, but what it really is the fabric of reality. That is really, really, really what it is. So when we come to the cutting edge of how we perceive ourselves and this world, and we're right on the edge of it. I mean, every step forward, we don't know if there's even anything to step on. We are walking right on the edge of our awareness. It seems like there's no roadmap. There's no way to know what is in front of us unless we become so aware of what we really are that we don't care. We don't care about our fears because we care so deeply about this connection to life that our fears just start going away because, again, like we were saying, there is no way to mess this up. And sometimes the people who fail the most are able to see things that many others aren't. And they learn, and they can help others learn with their wisdom. So just be really calm in your body. Slow, gentle breathing. A little smile or a big smile, it doesn't matter. Just feel that smile in your body. And with every beat of your heart, that feeling that you are choosing to create is being carried by the electromagnetic waves of every heartbeat. And so your smile feeling felt in your heart, that feeling through your heart waves are being sent out to every part of your body at the same time. And the more you become aware of this, the more you feel it happening. It's not like you're wondering if it's happening or anything. You are in tune with it happening. And the more you get in tune with it, the more powerful it is when it happens. And so if you're in a body that is already constructed of something that is impossible to prove, at least by the methods of so many in this world, if you are able to be alive in this body, to respect it, to respect the origins of this frequency that allows it to be here, when you make that a habit and you can feel that feeling pulsing through the core of your being, either in one little point you're focusing on or all of it at once. When you anchor your awareness into what is already there, but that you forgot for a brief moment, when you anchor that in, allow yourself to feel that. Because if you have pain, if you have health conditions, if you have emotional issues or mental issues, whatever you have that you feel is blocking you and preventing you from being healthy, let yourself be this conduit of reality, this supernatural super consciousness that everything is made of forever. And it changes form and it does all kinds of different cycles. When you begin to tune into that and you remember it, and then you're able to sustain it, anything in your body can heal really quick. Can everything heal? I don't think it's for any of us to say unless we've experienced it personally. I know that I have experienced it. And the experience was 2 levels that I still can't even imagine. But I have full faith because I was in a situation where it was do or die. And I just became totally alive. And in that life, it didn't matter what I ate, didn't matter at all, because I was high on life. I was sustaining that. And the only place to go from there is into deeper knowing of how interwoven you are in this life with this soul spark force that is carrying you throughout this life. So as we come to a closing, do whatever you got to do to memorize any breakthroughs or feelings that you've had tonight. Or if you didn't, but you could feel something with your smile and your heartbeat and maybe even your pulse anywhere in your body. It is this simple. If all we did was get calm, regulate our breathing rhythmically, feel our heartbeat because our body is so calm, and feeling that feeling of the smile, so that anywhere you focus in or around your body, all of that supercharged life force begins to do its work because you are amplifying it with your attention. So if all you ever did was just those few exercises and made solid habits, you could do that forever and continue to grow and evolve. And when you do grow and evolve deeper and in ways you never could imagine, suddenly life guides you through you. The frequency or energy of you is now supported with its origin source, just like it always has been, only now you are aware of it. and you're creating more awareness of it because it makes sense that creating a deeper, more loving, and almost like a comic relationship with this life force. This is how we change the world, by first changing ourselves. And the real guru is inside of you. Others can help, can point the way, they can be a role model of it. But ultimately, the power for all of this is in you. And right now, I think it's really easy to feel that most of the people on this planet, especially in Western worlds, they're not focused on it. And again, it's not good, bad, right or wrong. It just is what's happening. And so we have this really rare, once in a lifetime opportunity to become conscious beyond all human comprehension in a time when our world is tipping back and forth from its axis. It's like a seesaw, keeps going back and forth and up and down. And with all this chaos happening here, we get to be these beings that anchor what it's like to be consciously in coherence with our life force and supported by the natural world. And I'm curious, how many of us does it take before the real changes are made and those self-evident solutions just appear because they've always been there? So do your best to remember anything about tonight that was a breakthrough or that you loved, and you'd be able to do the replay of this. And one thing that I encourage, do it every day. And that's why these shorter meditations are great, because you can do them 3 or 4 times a day and can really focus on it, because you want to bring a lot of focus if you can. Or if this is better for you, some people want longer meditations because they prime themselves to do it. Whatever it is, we have the tools and they are free. They're just looking for some souls ready to realize how worthy they all actually are. So please share this, love it, tag it, literally help us get the word out there. Let's go for 1 million people meditating together regularly, globally. And all those dark things that are brutal, they're just trying to teach us how to love greater than we suffer. All right, Greg, anything you have to share?
Fantastic improvised meditation. Thank you. Thank you. And
Forgot.
yeah, as they say, we are creatures of our own habit, but we are creators of our own reality. With that said, thank you, everyone. We
All
will
right.
see you next week. Have a great rest of your week, and let's get going.
All right.
Okay, take care, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.